over here. Does anybody have any questions? Happy Labor Day. Thank you so much, Mark. Great to have you. Talk to the bots on the back end. Talk to the human on the front end. That's right. 100%, Mark. And I cannot stress it enough, Mark, and anybody else who is watching, that schema in Bing is super powerful. You don't hear any, here's what I always think is funny about the SEO industry, and one of the reasons why I wanted to start a channel in the first place. One of them was I noticed that everything was hush-hush and secretive. That was one thing. And I was like, this doesn't help the industry. The next piece of it was, they'll either point in an opposite direction of what's being actually helpful, or they'll glaze over it and say, oh, yeah, don't worry about Bing. But I mean, we're looking and we're talking about the second largest search engine that is taking up a lot of share. I mean, Google and Bing literally did a video not too long ago sitting with one another. I think that overlooking Bing and optimizations for Bing are certainly underutilized. And I want to point this out too. I think I've made a video on this. Speaking about the Bing Webmaster Tools. Definitely, how's it going, Dan? Get in there and sign up for the Bing Webmasters. They also have like their own GMB platform. I noticed a significant faster increase of traffic from that particular search engine by implementing that simple thing. Just signing up, putting the code on the page, super easy. For anybody that may be on that, I'm looking forward to having a live conversation. I'm signing up for, something that I could get some appointments. I don't know if I want to lean towards a group coaching setting where I can help a little bit more people with problems, a more in-depth Q&A setting, or if I want to stick with private. I'm not really sure. But anyway, I want to get through this process. And the first one to use how to figure out this software, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign everybody that was in the training. I'm going to have them set up an appointment just to see which one of these softwares I like. So yeah, I was just going through there. Does anybody have any questions? Yep, Bing will import Google Search Console data, so there's some sort of relationship with the two. Oh yeah. Definitely sign up for both. But those are really the two tips that I wanted to go ahead and showcase today. It doesn't seem like there's any questions. I hope that this was helpful. That was it for today. I really wanted to get across that point that, hey, schema, structured data on, your articles, your businesses, they're definitely taking into account a stronger signal. I've done this on many pages. Pages without clicks, we were able to rank by marking up a lot of elements that were on the page. All right, so that's a huge tip for Bing. If, depending on your demographic, you may want to optimize towards that search engine. Yeah, and the user-generated clicks, I mean, there's nothing as powerful as that at this point. Nothing that I've found. Can I ask on local? Sure. Yeah, ask anything. It doesn't have to be related to, the topic at hand. Generally, depending on what we talk about, I'll chop it off or I'll separate the videos. My wife and I love this channel. She just started a blog. Any advice for her on a new blog? Yes, Keith, a general, I actually get that question a lot. I'll get somebody for, say, a consulting session, or I'll spend some time, and they'll always have, that's always a very first question. A close friend, or maybe my wife, a spouse, a family member, if they're just starting out, one of the first things that I would tell them to focus on is, don't worry about any of the technical aspects. And we're going to say your wife. Like, when I talk to my wife about SEO, she is completely lost, right? She thinks it's magic, or she thinks it's bad, or You know, like we don't even talk, like she won't even let me SEO her properties, you know? She doesn't want anything to do with it, right? So what I have learned when talking with people is completely disassociate SEO when people don't really know about it. Like, don't talk about this. But here's the tips that I would give to her primarily. So first and foremost, I would analyze and take care of the technical for her. So that means make sure that the site is fast. Make sure that everything is running properly and fast. Make sure that it's fast, it's quick, it's responsive. You know, your 101 tips. Secondly, I would look at whatever her blog is about, all right? Whatever she's writing about, I would conduct a keyword research spreadsheet for her. And what I would be looking at is ask her, who inspires you? Who's the top people in your niche? Go to their site and pull out all of the pages on their website that are actually generating traffic. Not just the first ranker, second ranker, third ranker, but get a big list of them. And then go make her a keyword list, a spreadsheet of the pages that are actually receiving traffic. And then out of that list, find out what's the least competitive. And then get about 20 articles of keywords that she can write about related to her niche that are receiving traffic that are less competitive. About 20. And have her either write them or pay somebody to write at least 20 articles and then post them. All right? All at once. Get them all written and get them all posted all at once. Then after that, what I would have her do is then for yourself, depending on the niche that she's trying to target, put out a press release for the main top ranking pages that she wants to do. A press release related to her niche for the top pages and link to that page. So a press release, right? On multiple sites, 100 sites, 200 sites, whatever you can afford. With that being said, I would make sure that you're establishing entity relationships for her. And what I mean by that is if she has a standalone blog and it's about a particular service, she needs to disassociate herself from that blog. That's now a standalone entity. What do I mean by this? So when you're setting up that website and you're setting up that entity as a standalone entity, you want Google to look at that as its own property. You need to build out maybe a YouTube video with that brand name associated to the blog. Maybe a podcast. You don't even need literal content. It could be a video. It could just be her talking, to get those other links out. Also, social profiles with the business name. You're establishing the entity for her. But when we have a blog, we need a lot of content with low competition that's actually receiving some traffic, and then make sure she knows. Give her a realistic timeline. Tell her, say, you know what, after these 20 articles are posted, you're going to see a drip of traffic, because getting somebody that doesn't understand on the same page, you want them, because they're going to post and be sitting waiting. So let her know 6 to 9 months. All right. Just to get her in realistic mode, because it's a brand new page. And then in the background, have her setting up those entities, Pinterest, all of them. All of the social properties branded with that term, do the articles, and I think she'll be on the right track. That would be my first tips. Going down the list here. Bing local equals Yelp plus Yahoo. That's right. Hey man, can I ask a local question? Yes, you can. Is there a schema validation that Bing Webmaster Tools uses? That's funny that you ask that. I haven't really deep dived into their tools so much, because I am currently, a lot of the people that I'm dealing with are primarily inside of Google. As far as a validation tool, I'm pretty sure that they do. But generally I just use what's recommended. And I have yet to have any trouble, but I definitely notice, I don't want to say I want to say that it's more of a correlation, but I'm noticing pages that we're implementing particular types of schema on, we are noticing definite increase. But it starts with, the Webmaster Tools. It starts with submitting the business. So I got a site with 39 local pages. Do I need to create supporting pages for each area, or supporting for the site in general. So you have local pages. I would really take a look at the SERP, right? Your main headline, your leading competition, what are they doing? If they have supporting articles and this is what is being rewarded, then I would obviously do the same thing. But if that's being rewarded, go the extra step and maybe do a few more. Generally what I've seen when they have particular location pages, say 39, and you're doing it by a state level, supporting articles would be the top cities. Or if you're doing city level, then towns. And then base content around entity relationship, talking about the town, other places that are nearby, roads that are nearby, really start making those associations. It's certainly helpful. Moving down the list here, Bam Bam, good advice. Yes, sir. Keith Allen, great advice. Really appreciate it. Always my pleasure. Sounds like we were on the right track. Good. That's what I like to hear. If there are no other questions, regardless if it's, it doesn't have to be beginners. I use this because it's more of a beginner concept. Yep, clicks work, but I really wanted to aim towards, hey, the schema for Bing is super powerful, and I just do not want anybody that's a beginner to overlook it. That's why I named it SEO for beginners, but you don't have to ask beginner questions. But it looks like we've pretty much wrapped up. If there are further questions, leave them in the comments below. And that should pretty much wrap it up for today. It's been my absolute pleasure to give you these 2 tips today. I'll see everybody in the next video. If he can't get to a question, just post a comment when the video publishes. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so what would you consider as low volume and worth going for? Well, it's not necessarily low volume. I mean, when you're analyzing a page, you can implement a tool and utilize looking at that pages, not the overall site, but when you go to that page, right? If we're going to use Moz, because I know a lot of people like Moz, if we go to that actual page that's bringing in traffic and ranking, what's the PA on that site, right? What is that page's authority? How many links do they have? What are they covering? How long is the article? All right. Generally, when I'm first starting out and I'm looking at, my first initial pages, what I'm really focusing on is more of a medium. So anything under, say, 3,000 searches, it just really depends on the niche. Some niches definitely won't even have queries that have tens of thousands of searches per month. So, I mean, if you're looking at something and you're saying to yourself, okay, because that's where you're coming in, all right, Keith? Because you know what you're looking at. If a page is ranking and it's getting traffic and the site's only getting a few links, the age of the page isn't that old, things along those lines, then that would be the competition that I would be going for. Not just, hey, looking at the DA and PA of a website or the DR and the UR. That's one metric, but you have to look at the actual page that you're competing with. And then just make sure that she's mapping out the content as well. Like, okay, the amount of elements on the page, how many keywords, how many partials, how many variations, okay, how many images, how many videos, forms, lists, unstructured lists, the whole 9, right? But I would be looking more for a medium tail keyword. It's like a medium volume, or even mix it up. But you want to make sure that it's at least getting 100 or 250 searches a month. If you want to go after, say, a 3,000 volume keyword, that's perfectly fine. But I would really do an analyzation of the SERP and do not only look at the tool, but literally go to the SERP for a particular keyword that you want to target. But make her a list of at least 20 or 30 keywords that fit that criteria. Okay, hey, it's getting X amount of traffic. The actual opposition, the competition is not that significant. And that's the list that I would make. And don't let her drip feed that content out. Put it all out at one time. And then that way, as you're watching it, you can watch, okay, this is going up, this is going down. And if you need to make tweaks to the content, then you can. So I hope that helps you. How do you know search volume? Well, again, I mean, I'm basing search volume off of a tool. I mean, I can only go off of whatever a tool would say. Say SEMrush, Ahrefs is all right. You can even look at AdWords, but I think that that's more based around advertising. So the keywords that they're going to spit out might be different than, say, a tool. That's why I like to look at, okay, what's my niche? All right, who's my top 10 competition? All right, I analyze all of their websites and where are they actually getting their traffic from? Then I know, okay, this website's about this. This is where their content's coming from. This is what I would base my content strategy around. You see? So let's go down the list here. Hello from Spain. Hello to you, JM. Madison Scott, how do you know search volume? So we covered that just now. Hello from India. Great to have you on. If you have any questions at this point, please go ahead and ask in the comment section, the live chat. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. If not, I'm going to go ahead and hop off. It's been an absolute pleasure. For anybody that is in the training, I am setting this up now. I just want something that's more streamlined because I've been using like Facebook and people are messaging me. Then there's emails and I get a million emails. Then I have actual clients messaging me and I'm talking to them. So I want to set up like an appointment where I know I'll have time so I can set up the date and the time and say, here, instead of working around, someone messages me and then I say, hey, well, I can do it now. I just don't like how that is because initially I've always worked with the same amount of people, or I had, say, gigs or jobs somewhere, like the people would just come. Now I want to lean more towards, hey, we set up a day and time that's both best for us. When you're working with somebody for years, like we know each other's schedule, like I can call them. So when I'm intaking new people, I want something that's more streamlined, instead of messaging me on Facebook, then we're playing Facebook tag, something streamlined. Like I can book appointments in the morning. I can book appointments at night. I base my work schedule around my family. That's how I always wanted it to be. So that's how I do it. Like daytime, is little Chris time. And then now my daughter's in school. So, I help her with stuff that I can, but I'm not, definitely not math. I could say that. This new math, is not for me. But science, all that kind of stuff, definitely. All right. So, thank you. Yep. All right. So it's been a pleasure. I was looking to see if anybody would have any comments, but it doesn't look like we have. So again, it's been great. I'm glad that I was able to showcase this for you and with you today. Everybody have a wonderful and blessed day. Have a great holiday. I hope everybody has a safe and happy holiday. Spend the times with your family. Whatever you do, do it well, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye, everybody, and thank you for joining. What's up, Michael? Have a blessed day. Michael, do you have a question before I hop off? Real quick. Anybody? Anybody at all? I feel like I see 18 people. Out of these 18 people, does anybody have any questions? I would love to answer them for you. I have a minute here. I have a couple more minutes. Anybody? Would I ever buy a site instead of building one? Absolutely. 100%. I do it all the time. Yes, Michael, I do it all the time. And more so, like, I just went on a buying spree of particular sites that were definitely not optimized, very minimal ranking. I just bought 5 sites. And what I'm planning on doing is I want to, because I have a lot of success with discount sites, promo code sites, but a lot of that stuff was AWS and G sites. And that's, that was, I was dipping my feet into affiliate. And I ran about 10 of those so far that I did very successful with. But now what I want to do is, and I want to start bringing it to the channel because I realized that, hey, a lot of people on the channel have affiliate. They want to work from home. So I want to start showcasing more of that. So I bought a site that's absolutely horrendous. And what I mean by that is it's aged, but the gentleman wasn't too skilled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that on the channel and we're going to build that out together. So I think that'll be fun. I also bought a couple other ones that we can, when I start the group coaching program, I want to, be able to help people with implementation and actually show them. Because when I do these public videos, I definitely can't show client side stuff. Like the real estate people, like Great Wolf Lodge definitely doesn't want me showing the campaigns that I'm running. Plus some of the stuff I do is definitely not for eyes, and I work with other people. Like they have their own little teams. I just do particular things, and I can't boast those types of rankings because they have a huge brand and they have a huge budget. It's easy for me to do what I need to do. Hopefully they don't see me say that. But yeah, it's a lot easier, when you have a budget. But let's see if we have any questions here. Keith says, which press release service do you use? Kevin, that's an interesting question because I use a in-house service. I've released videos before showing at least one of my Fiverr accounts. I think I showed one of my Black Hat World seller accounts too, right? I've been offering services on these platforms for years. So Eric is my close partner. We work together. He's totally camera shy, and he definitely, and the other people I was working with, once I went public, they totally got away from me. But with that being said, I have my own process. Eric works with somebody that's very close to him. So we have our own distribution network, I guess you can call it. And I've been talking with him, and I think that, maybe a particular citation service, because I noticed that I go and I look in the marketplace and I think to myself, I can offer this service for half the price that other services are doing it. Like I look in, the popular services. I think it's kind of like the SEO information. Like I just think things need to change a little. So the long story short of it is this. I'm 100% confident that we're going to release a press release citation service. I may even do some guest post outreach. But I'm definitely coming out with a training program. I've been asked a million times, literally inundated with, hey, why don't you do a training on backlinks? So I'm thinking about maybe doing something along that line. And also I have a very large list of guest posts, like places you can either get them for free or people that are super cool. And I have it all broken in with lists, like in sections, niches. So what I'm getting at is this. We use our own distribution service, Kevin. And generally I can get placement on 50 to 100 sites. Usually 100. Some links I get are pretty good. So yeah, that's the service I use. I can show you one that I can show you one. I usually don't show my stuff, but I just did one for myself. Let's take a look here quick. I think I did it for consulting. Let's take a look here. I'll show you. Like I got this one I just did, and I wrote this myself. I'm pretty horrible at writing. So the service that I can get distribution through, well, actually Eric, I say me, but really I mean through him. So how he can do it is, if I write out my own, if I write out my own deal here, like if I write out my own press release, he could get it out. He could get it out for me. He could usually get me 50 to 100 for clients, depending on how high quality the article is. This is just one that I want to show you. Like I sat here and I wrote this and I was able to get it onto Digital Journal. I saw guys selling this link for $50, So I know that's really high, but I've seen it. That's one of them. I got a bunch of them though. I don't want to show the list because it has my contact's phone number on it. But yeah, that's one of the places I could get on. And then like all the other ones that you see, like Market Watch and all that, like you see those guys selling those links for $30, $40. Like I could get that link for way cheaper. You know, I think I want to bring, you know, kind of like the level of quality of information I try to give for free. I want to be able to bring that to the services. So like the same quality that you would find everywhere else where they're upcharging a bazillion. Like, I mean, I could go to any store right now, go to a press release service. They're charging $200, and I know that I could definitely beat that price. Or $150. I know I could beat that price. So yeah, Kevin, man, I've been wanting to do that for a while. I've been trying to get away from client stuff, and you know how it is. Like, you can't make everybody happy, and it's so difficult. And me, like, I'm too nice. Eric tells me all the time, like, Chris, you're just too nice. Like, I go out of my way. Like, I really try to build a relationship. Like, hey, I'm helping you with your business. Like, I consider myself a partner of yours. So it's hard for me to disassociate myself with people. So that's why I've been trying to get away from the client side stuff. But I'm putting into effect a system that will be easy to utilize. If anybody has been following me, I like to really plan my work, and then I take my time, you know. So, yeah. So CTR manipulation, but I use my own, Kevin. I'm definitely going to have some services soon. If you're interested in press releases, I can definitely guarantee 100 placements. Probably could get you more. If you have a high quality article, I could definitely get you distribution for probably $70. Message me if you're interested, Kevin. Probably about $70, $75. Like, if I can make $10, I'm super happy with that. You know, the gentleman that I work with still offers, so I want to be able to help him out that I work with. But he, like, literally has his own little distribution network, so it's really cool. So CTR manipulation. How many until you see results on a low volume keyword? I just got a VPN to change my IP regularly. Thinking of doing manual CTR. Keith, you know, I've tried all the methods, and I offer VPNs, right? And and how I actually ended up getting access to all of that was I was testing VPNs, sending traffic. I literally took Supreme Traffic Bot. I gave it to, I tried to do it myself, but I gave it to the gentleman that I work with that helps me with programming. And we created our own little system, because with Supreme Traffic, you could plug in HMA and it would go through and funnel the traffic through the VPN. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to be able to not only utilize HMA, but I wanted it to switch through VPN providers and do it automatically, right? Okay, I'd get a proxy from here, a proxy from here, a proxy from here, a proxy from here, right? And I had 3 services set up: HMA, Nord, and IPVanish. I was utilizing IP addresses from all of those. Now, I said all of that to say this. I can, without any shadow of a doubt, 100% say at this point, after testing it and running traffic, as of probably about 8 months ago, it's almost like, I would say for at least the past 8 months, that the VPNs, those proxies, are definitely like they've been mutilated. Like, unless you know somebody that has bought a private block, like their own C block. If you go out and you buy a C block, 500 IPs, right? If you can get your own and you want to set up your own little system, then you might have some success. But Keith, I would steer clear of the VPNs. I don't really want to get into, because I offer that into a training. But as a word of advice and as a word of help, I would steer clear of the VPNs. And I would be super careful, with the amount of clicks that you're sending, because it's not the amount. It's how it's coming in. All right. So hopefully that helps you out. Age no links versus expired with links. I always prefer age without links, so then I can build. It's very hard to get an age domain without links. Now, if I can get one that's aged, that has very low links that are primarily generic, I would definitely prefer that with expired with links. This is just a personal opinion. I like a lot of age, low amount of links, and if there is links, I want generic. That's not to say that I haven't repurposed expired domains. I've done it a million times. It was actually funny. I was talking with Craig, and he's managed thousands. You know, generally, if we intake somebody new, we'll build their own little small, they used to call it like a mini net. You know, I would create a small mini net of usually 5 or 6 sites, and I would rebuild them exactly how they were, but I would just change out the anchors, you know, like that were coming in, and external links, you see? So those are beneficial. Those are still helpful. It still works. It's fine. I just rebuild it exactly how it was, but any external links that were there previously, I change out the anchor text, and now I'm directing that traffic, and I'm directing those links to the new property, and I never interlink them. Hopefully that helps you. Michael, did you buy it specifically because it was aged and you would escape the sandbox? Exactly. That's 100% the only reason. Yeah, I did. I bought a few sites just recently. One I'm going to be sharing publicly. I actually overpaid for it, and it's interesting because I've bought in expired domains, I've bought in aged domains, but I've never bought in a affiliate site that was already, building some insight. And to me, I was looking at, okay, an article, $50. Okay, the amount of age, I was just adding up the amount in my mind, and I came to a figure that was fair for me. Now, when I talked to Craig, who has done this a million times, he's like, no. You know, and I want him to come on and show how he broke that down, which is going to be super beneficial to you and myself. Because again, I was building out AWS sites, HTML and CSS sites that were 3 pages, AWS, and ranking for coupon codes, all different types. I was also doing that with G sites. I only showed one publicly because I got it taken away, but that was a main income earner for me. So that's why I don't show that stuff. But I was ranking for HostGator coupons, HostGator discounts, anything HostGator. I may even have a page up now, but it's not in the ranking position that it was. Let me see. I used to be number 2. Let me see here. Yeah, I don't see it. Yeah, I don't see it. But yeah, I never really went with the affiliates before, like bought it where it was already kind of set up, but the optimization of this site was absolutely horrendous. And I just thought to myself, hey, it's in a good niche. It's got age. It's out of the sandbox. It's got a few links, but they're actually horrendous. I just thought it was cheap, but I was schooled a little bit on that. And I'm not sad to say it because I think that every single mistake is a lesson. And I've learned much more expensive lessons in my life. So it was worth it to me. But to be honest, Michael, definitely 100% it's worth it just to buy it. It comes with content. It's already aged. It's in authority mode, as Diggity would say. I like that term. That's why I use it. But yeah. So Hacker World, need you digital marketing based AdWords video for profit. When I set up campaigns, it's with people that are definitely that have budgets. They've already had past campaigns and they've already established a list that I can utilize and implement, and then I just have to track performance, right? So the campaigns that I run and I've had success with, I already had a baseline to start from, However, I will be running some YouTube ads for fun. So maybe I'll do a video on that because I want to go through it and teach everybody. but I'm also learning some stuff. So I like to teach as I learn. So, not so much AdWords, but kind of, because I will be doing Google for you. So hopefully that'll help you out, hacker. Anthony says, hey, Chris, the CTR course, I will need a PC or I can use a Mac to run the emulation. You can utilize a Mac. Amit says, how to get SEO leads from Google Ads and what strategy should I use to get more SEO leads? Well, one of the strategies that I would implement, give me 1 minute, is I would, if you're doing SEO and you're generating leads, then you probably specialize in one particular niche. That would be my recommendation, right? Specialize in something and then branch out. Now, as you're specializing, you're going to come to find out that there's particular directories that are leaning more towards a specific niche. So when I was trying to generate leads for particular niches to come to me, I was setting up on those directories. I was also creating my own directories, and comparing myself, setting up sites that were almost like review sites that were targeting specific keywords, but instead of like, say, this particular person versus this person, I would do that person versus this person, and I would incorporate those keywords. Also, there's a lot of questions that pop up within particular industries, and you'll notice that there's higher ranking Q&A websites such as Quora that'll pop up. So I've implemented this with timeshares and travel clubs. If you search any of the keywords, how are the bathrooms? How's the hospitality? How are the wait staff? How's the food? I would go around and set up campaigns. I'm using Quora as one, but there's multiple other platforms that you can do this on, and you're answering the questions, but you're directing that traffic to your brand, business, or service. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm getting at here is being very creative. Also, you'll come to find out that a lot of these larger ranking businesses, and this is a big tip, they're looking for what they call a customer avatar, all right? A very particular person that fits their mold. Now, if I was restarting back up as a brand, I would be reaching out to these other brands because some brands, a lot of brands that are larger, are kicking out customers left and right that don't fit their customer avatar, who they cater to. So that's another tip for you. Other than being creative, running ads, being on all the directories, sending traffic by questions, things along those lines, but also reaching out to other agencies that you could actually fill that void. Maybe you take a lesser value client. Maybe you work with other types of clients. So reaching out to people that are already in position to work out some type of, JV can certainly be beneficial. So hopefully those 4 tips helped you out. Moving down the list here. Sir, can I explain how to find a free guest post? It's easy. Write for us. Keyword plus write for us. Keyword free guest post. Keyword, and this is a search term. Use operators within search, within Google. Write for us, guest post, contribute, things along those lines. In your niche or industry, apply keywords, do different variations, and you'll start finding opportunities. However, with that said, one of the next trainings that I'll do is I'm going to share a list, a huge list, and walk through how to probably, I don't know, I probably know at least 1,000 different links that you can get. You could sell them, you could do them. I've been curating a list. So I want to do a walkthrough of 1,000 links, and I'm literally it's going to take hours. But I want to do that, and I think it would be beneficial for people. So hopefully that helps you out. Be on the lookout for that. I'm going to have a guest post list. That'll be a separate opportunity, but I'll also have a walkthrough of 1,000 different links that we can create together. I'll probably only do follows. But that'll probably be a 10-hour, 15-hour training of just how to create 1,000 links. You send 1,000 links to something, you're probably going to get some boost. What's your view on using subdomains for local? I like it to target different types of keywords. I like it. I think that it can be helpful. Just be careful depending on if your actual domain name. Be careful, you don't want to cook yourself. All right. Does AdWords help with CTR or organic helps? AdWords, sending traffic, again, it's not the direct. Direct is one piece. But where is the traffic originating from and how is it getting to you? And the big hint here is it has to come through something. Okay? So hopefully that helps you out. How can I connect with you? Message me on Messenger, but I'm working on setting this up right here, Applet. I'm not promoting them. I'm just want to try them out. I'm going to set this up, get a link so I can start helping more people. I want to start doing consultation sessions private, but I'm also going to start a group coach where I can help people, and talk about more things than I would talk about in public. So that's going to wrap up. I do need to go now. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm going to jump off after this question from Michael. If you have any further questions, leave them in the comment section below. When buying your sites, what do you typically like to pay as a multiple of monthly earnings? Yeah, Michael, that's, again, I just started buying affiliate sites. When I'm looking at those multiples, see, I wasn't equating that. I was looking at what was already there. I was looking at potential earnings. I was looking at the amount of content. I was looking at the age, the work that was already done, and I was adding up to myself. Because when I'm looking at, not Empire Flippers, let's say Flippa, or any of the other private groups that I've been to, they'll have that listed there, but when I look at the amount of work that has already been done, and I equate hours and time, I was just looking at it differently. So to give you an answer, Michael, I just started really taking that into consideration. Because again, I just started buying affiliate sites. It's a completely new space for me. So to give you an answer, it wouldn't be truthful because I really, like when I did this buy, I bought 5 sites. I was basing it, like I saw those values there, but I was just looking at, okay, this site is this old. This site has this much content. This site's getting this much traffic. This site's in this niche. This guy just posted a piece of content that was garbage and it's already ranked at the bottom of page 1. You see, like I'm looking at potential. I didn't care about value because I know that what work I can do. And I want to showcase that with everybody. That's going to be some of my next videos. Affiliate, how to take this site that's trash and turn it into a polished gem. So yeah, Chris Palmer SEO. You can find me here. Let's bring it over here so you know what you're looking for. So we'll go to Facebook. I'll give you a link if you'd like. You can also join the Facebook group. When I get busy, I don't go in there, but I do try to go in there at least once a day. But like the past 2 days, I've been busy as heck. So yeah. But yeah, just message me on here. Let me see if it's /. I think it's this one right here. Let me see. Let me double check for you, make sure. Because I tried to change it, and it says Chris Palmer Marketing up here, which is what my LLC is. But Chris Palmer SEO. So you can get there from here. So here you go. If you want to get in touch with me, message me here. Again, I don't go on Facebook if I'm ultra busy. So sometimes people get upset with me, but I'm managing a life, a business. I try to provide value. All right. I try many footprints, but I can't find any guest post sites. Well, then if that's really the case, which I think is interesting, then I would be looking at your competition to find where are they getting links from, because they're getting links from somewhere. So where are they getting their links? Where are they posting? Where are they getting their links from? And then I'd start going around because they're definitely buying them. Nobody's really in. It's hard to get a free link now. So they're definitely paying for them. They're either writing content or they're paying for links. So if you can't find them by doing footprint searches, then that's what I would implement. Yep. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you so much. That's going to wrap up today. Everybody have a blessed weekend. I'll see you in the next SEO for Beginners, Learn SEO Tips video. Have a wonderful day.